What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. Like I said in yesterday's video, I'm going to be looking at some more monarchies or Floowandereeze and Monarch put together. What better place to start than against Lyralisk? I think, is this pure Lyralisk? Pretty sure it was. That's an interesting. Oh no, here's Tri-Brigade stuff. Never mind. So we'll see what I can do here. I'm very lucky. Basically, that, well, he has the Ash here. I wonder if he's going to end up using it. I understand this deck a whole lot more now. So I actually have no idea why he didn't activate Ash. Maybe because he says he thinks in his mind he's got the Harpy's Feather Duster. I'm going to be chain blocking here. Maybe I was able to chain block successfully. He shuts me down during my turn. Well, now I'm starting to understand a little more. I guess you don't know you're going to top deck the Ash, so you want to stop it during my turn. Man, I've gone pretty far. Although, no, he can't go into a Zeus. He's got to be able to get over this, which he probably will be able to. This actually has a pretty decent matchup against Lyralisk. As long as, once you find out, what you're playing, then you're pretty much good to go. The Immortal monster is actually very, very good in this matchup. Just being able to, get those birds out of their hands. Some of them are good in the graveyard, but if you can, get rid of enough, then you're doing pretty well. I'm going to start doing some cool stuff here. Yeah, he doesn't attack, with the Assembled Nightingale. I don't know. Can, it just not be destroyed by battle or something? Why would you not attack the statue so you can go into Zeus? This card can attack directly, while this card is material, can attack up to the number of materials attached to it. Huh. Yeah, I think that was a pretty bad decision. Okay, so he goes for the Ensemble Robin, but yeah, I don't special summon, so... Honestly, I went to battle phase here. That was my first mistake. Who cares? I should have just gone through with my plays and... I don't know if that would have been lethal. Actually, no. I would have had an extra normal summon, so... This is just kind of a silly mistake. He has the other Ash, of course. And I'm actually kind of stuck because I can't normal summon anymore. I had a very full board. Now I think he goes into Zeus, so... I do have the follow-up here. I have the Rabina. Rabina by itself, gets your plays going. Obviously, this is the most important card. One of the biggest changes I made from yesterday, that very raw version of it, was I've added the Crossout Designator. The biggest cards of the format, or any given deck, Ash and Infinite Impermanence, just absolutely kill this deck. The quick play spell helps, but not against Ash. It's just, you have to have it. Alright, so I just lost a whole bunch of cards, but I'm actually still okay. Pops and, Zeus effect are not that important, which is nice. But hard negates, oh, it's terrible. I have so many names in circulation at this point. He should have held on way longer than he did. I'm going to be able to normal summon during his turn. Clearing my board is actually one of the best things he can do for me. I'll shuffle that back into the deck. I'll go into Domain. And, he has 50 life points left. How silly is that? But it's not enough. So, that, I made a pretty bad misplay. We'll see what I do here. Dimension Shifter, of course, is, wins you duels, as I'm sure everybody knows. Alright, he's going to go for Recital Starling. Yeah, maybe I should have activated that earlier, maybe on the bird call effect. I'm always worried about Gamma, to be honest with you, so, yeah. Okay, so he goes ahead and negates the quick play spell. See if I can get into any starters. I can add an England to, grab at least one card from my deck. I go ahead and grab Ryza, the Mega, because of, Domain can reduce this level for, a 1 tribute summon. Also, it thins out your deck just a little bit. I top deck a Nibiru. This is kind of a weird duel, if you ask me. He's got the Barrel Canary. I don't know. Oh, I banished it from his graveyard. It doesn't even have a target for Barrel Canary, which is pretty funny. Okay, so here comes Rabina. That was a very nice top deck, but it was only a matter of time before you get something good. I have so many versions of those cards. You can keep your graveyard pretty empty and keep activating D Shifter. No, I don't think any other deck can do it like this can. Alright, so he can't go into the extra deck, so he's going to have a really hard time. I'm not activating monster effects, of course, so triple attack is completely offline. And yeah, he just goes ahead and surrenders from there. We'll go to Virtual World. I haven't played against this deck too often. Another matchup where I feel pretty good about, actually. Especially when you can start your turn by activating Shifter. That's pretty sick. The Immortal line isn't really open that much. I mean, anytime you open D-Shifter, it's like, that's got to be the first thing you think about. But, you know, I feel like I'm okay. You know, Infinite Impermanence. I got the Trap. So I'm going to be able to work a little bit here. Dark World No More doesn't really do that much against the deck, especially when you go for your main plays here with, like, Domain. But, okay. This actually, Dimension Shifter destroys Virtual World, like, completely. Waking the Dragons in the main is pretty wild, in my opinion. I don't know if I'd actually do that. I have a lot of ways to shuffle. Okay, so he goes to draw 2 cards, but I don't think he can activate the effect of Virtual World because it gets banished and yeah, he can't special summon. So he just completely blew that up, I guess. Okay, if you control another Virtual World gate. I don't even know why he set that, to be honest with you. But, you know, as you can see here, I'm pretty much just overloaded on advantage at this point. I'm going to be able to add those to my hand. So special summon monsters can't activate, and attack position can't activate their effects. And Apex Avian is still under D-Shifter. And yeah, Infinite Impermanence. I got the Quick Play spell. Now in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, you know, let's go for the Immortal Phoenix. Like, I activate D-Shifter. He's going to banish everything. I'm going to negate this. Of course, I don't want the trap to go through. I'm going to go ahead and normal summon just to get rid of every card in his hand. How does that sound? These cards aren't doing anything, obviously, so it's like I'm not going to play into them. I don't know what they could be. I wasn't expecting this, but if he was Chuche, he would have activated it by now. But yeah, here comes the Immortal Phoenix. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, the field spell's useless. Sending back the Impin is fantastic. And because he's under Dimension Shifter, all those cards just get banished instead. Super. I still love this card. I took out the regular Monarch stuff. It's great. You know, the idea of shuffling so many cards back into your opponent's, you activate Monarch effect to shuffle back. And then you can activate, you know, Immortal to shuffle more. The setup isn't always perfect, as you saw there. Like, I wasn't able to do it in my opening, so really just shuffling 3, like, maybe, like, you know, getting rid of 3 cards in your opponent's hand, it's probably good enough. And depending on, like, you know, the idea is that you're using Immortal to banish, like I just did. I just banished all of his Virtual World monsters, but, you know, a lot of the times, like, your opponent really wants those cards in their hand. I'm thinking, like, Invoke Shaddoll, like, really good effect. It's random discard 3. They don't have great graveyard effects unless they're playing the Shaddoll engine and, you know, you randomly hit those. But if you're hitting, like, the Ecclesias and Alistairs, like, that is just so good. Alright, Rabina effect can come off. Let's see where I go here. I think I set this artifact Lancey to the field just in case I wanted to search, you know, the Immortal. But this seemed like the better play because Chuche is really his only out to most good things. So yeah, he's like, he Dark Rollered me, and that's why I love Domain of the True Monarch so much, because, like, alright, you can special summon all these monsters, but yeah, you still can't go into the extra deck. There's just, you have to first, like, you have to out the Impin, like, theoretically. You have to out the Wind Barrier statue and the Domain. That's a very hard thing to do unless you open, like, perfectly, which sometimes they will, but in terms of a win condition, I think it's pretty good. All these cards are going to get banished because of D-Shifter, meaning he has no follow-up play, like, at all, and I still am in a very good place here. Any top deck's a nib, which you're never going to special summon or, you know, summon 5 times. It's just not going to happen. And I'll show a little bit of everything else. I played, like, Phantom Knights a few times, but it was a very silly version of the deck. I was hoping to play against more meta, but I don't think this has a bad matchup against any one deck, but as I've kind of been talking about, it's just the most common hand traps just totally destroy you. But Cross-Out Designator helps a lot. And normally I'd run Infinite, or Called by the Grave, but Infinite Impermanence is just too popular. It's kind of a waste, or at least it feels that way. Alright, so, okay, the Rabina can probably come down. Rabina can search me. It's just whatever else. I can use Impin effect. So the way I had my opening was I went into Apex Avian first, which is if you have all the other cards in your hand, if you just so happen to draw them, that's really great because your negate comes up first. He activates Goes in Match, but yeah, Goes in Match is actually like fine for sure. Okay, so I'll activate and go into Apex Avian. Like, wind monsters are cool. Now, if your opponent flips it up on you, like before your turn starts, it's a little tough because Rabina's a water. Honestly, I wish they were all wind. It would make life much easier, but it's just not. This is Time Lords. When is the next time I'm going to be able to show Time Lords on my deck or my profile? I don't know. He's got the Dark Hole. I think Raigeki and Dark Hole are becoming just so much more popular, to be honest with you. Same situation here. It's kind of the same exact setup. I open the Dreams. He's going to go ahead and Kaiju that, but, well, I guess that makes sense because these are... No, these can't be special summoned. Yeah, that's actually kind of silly in my opinion, but okay. Mega Monarchs is going to pop that back to the hand. I can shuffle back the Apex Avian, which is really, really nice because, their Searcher, for England, it's not like a wasted card. It goes to Dark Hole, but my follow-up plays, of course, are like super poggers, powerful, which is nice. Here's Saladin. This is kind of that duel talking about where pops don't matter. You'd rather have someone have a bunch of like monster destruction than you ever would hard negates because it really ends your turn. And then it ends up being awkward because you have all these cards in your hand. There's nothing you can do with them. So as I've been really analyzing Floowandereeze, is it meta? No, I don't think it's meta. But it is definitely rogue, without a doubt. It can blow out your opponent, if they're not ready. And if the deck gets a few more main deck monsters, I'd love to play England at 1 and have, 3 other good ones, because Rabina's your only play starter at the moment. Technically, Eaglin is too, but not by itself. There needs to be another play starter by itself for order for this to be good. Also, I think the other way that you can actually fix this, and it would actually be really nice for the deck too, the way that I play it, because of Immortal, if you could have a continuous spell that when activated searches any of your main deck Floowandereeze monsters, that would be super, super killer. And if it's a continuous trap that protects you from targeting, so no imperm. It might be asking for a lot, but there are no searchers in this. Well, everything searches. There's no spell searchers. Well, that's not true either. The field spell does, but it's so awkward. The field spell has to have a level 1 in hand. The quick play spell has to have a level 1 in hand, and you're not playing that many because most of them aren't good, or most of them can't be activated turn 0. But yeah, that was just... I just dismantled this because I'm going to be able to, return this to the deck and return, the wolf back to the hand, which is the extra deck. Meaning I've just gone through completely and just kind of made that happen, which is super, super sick. You can go, second. Dark One or more is really great. And this card also works with Immortal too, because if you're going first, you're getting a lot of use out of it, because you're going to be able to set it and use it to shuffle a card back to their hand. There we go. Here's Crossout Designator. I would have been done otherwise, of course. This is... Oh, it's Sword Soul. Pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set that card, and let's see what happens. Pot of Desires is going to come down. I'm going to draw a couple cards. And he ends up just surrendering, so... Oh, interesting. He didn't get any access to a Sword Soul monster. That's why he quit. I didn't understand at the time, but now that makes much more sense. I'll show you this Phantom Knight stuff. He's playing Triple Tactical Talon, Fusion Destiny. How unfortunate that you're hitting your targets for Fusion Destiny in a 60-card deck. What is... I know he's playing Red Eyes and Fusion Destiny. He's playing multiple copies of Red Eyes Fusion, too. It doesn't mind opening it. Which is just so... If drawing your bricks in a 60-card deck must be the most depressing thing ever. Okay, so it goes for Evenly Match. I'm going to go ahead and activate this for, that. I'm going to be able to go through my chain still, so... no one wants to be hit with Evenly Match, but of the decks, I feel like this can handle, especially because of this card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and banish the trap. for later on because, you know, at some point with the Robin, I'm going to be able to search the, what's it called? The toucan, because a toucan can add it back to hand. Okay, so Phoenix Enforcer hits the board. This is great. Like, this is all. It's not great to like lose a card, obviously, but I have too many names in circulation. A pop's not going to be worth anything, especially if I can go into an Empen. I can't for now, but yeah. I don't know if you realize what the effect of that was. So Phoenix Enforcer is no longer. City of Dreams is back to my hand, which is great because during his turn I'm going to be. Look at the top deck. Really? Red Eyes Fusion? That is crazy. But he doesn't have any cards in hand, so that's okay. Because I want to go into the Ostrich. Ostrich can banish one of the Destinies to draw 2. Which that may have been, well, I don't think he had much of a choice anyways. But okay, the trap can go ahead and banish itself to flip this face down, which is super important. Lots of ways to get around awkward disruption from your opponent, which is really, really cool. Okay. This is going to go ahead and shuffle this back. He doesn't have more... Like, he has extra Red Eyes Fusions in his deck, but he doesn't play multiple copies of anything. And I shuffled back, just for the lulz, the Dark Magician. So he has a brick in his deck again. You know, why not? Here's the same duel here. Okay, looks like I'm going to go ahead and set 2 and pass. Who doesn't enjoy that? Solemn Judgment, Infinite Impermanence. Yeah, it's not great for him. Like, this is good, but not against what I have. So it's going to help me survive 1 turn. Top deck the Pot of Duality. That is great. And it's a Rabina, or a Robin. Yeah, it's Robin, right? I'm pretty sure. Oh, it is Rabina. Never mind. Okay, so there goes the England. Rabina. Normal summon it out. I probably search the barrier statue because this is going to let me normal summon it afterwards. Which is just so deadly, right? And like I said, Nib doesn't do anything at all, which is super, super nice. And, like, yeah, he had this, like, Dark Ruler more. He's going to go ahead and activate it, but it can't go into the extra deck. How many times in this have I seen that everybody's playing, you know, Dark Ruler no more? Everyone's playing Forbidden Droplets, but they got to be able to out this 2. So they got to have 2 outs without going into the extra deck. And this is why I think this is, like, you know, some of the tech I play, like, Immortal stuff, like, that's probably not so good, but I really do feel like this is, like, the best way to play and give yourself, you know, the best chance to win. Using Floowandereeze, as silly as that sounds. Oh, okay. Looks like I get to go first here. Eaglet effect. Add Apex Avian because I have the other, you know, goodies to my hand. The trap, more importantly. I'm really thinking about playing this card at 3. The trap. To be able to, like, activate it this way. He's going to go ahead and activate Twin Twisters. Alright. That's pretty cool, I suppose. I had set the Dark Ruler... I was never going to go into Immortal, so that's a misplay for the most part. Because instead of losing 1, not that I think he's going to be able to do all these great things during his turn, but yeah, you want to be able to be, you know, as good as possible. I activate Lancia because I'm done summoning for the turn. You would think this card would be terrible. It's good. It's bad against you. But you know, if you go through your plays and then activate afterwards, well, it's very good against Phantom Knights, of course. Okay, so. Let's see, did I miss anything else before I go? Here's a water deck. Did I show this duel? Don't think so. Okay. You would think they would, like, side out goes and match, to be honest with you. I feel like I showed this duel. I did. Never mind. Okay. Okay, so let's round this out. Pendulum. Who doesn't enjoy a good match against Pendulum? D-Shifter during the standby. Rabina effect. Opening the Unexplored Winds is super nice because this I actually may end up going for Immortal. Like, this is the setup, right? Because I can also set Crossout Designator, which is really nice. But I didn't, and I don't know why. Well, yeah, that's pretty interesting. All right, so Ash can come down. He's not going to be able to search the trap. That's the only card I'm scared of. I'm just going to wait for him to activate his second scale because I'm going to be able to tribute one of his scales and send the other one back. That was the idea behind this. Because without, like, you're going to have to hard open the scales that you need to open. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. And he goes ahead and surrenders there, as I've just gotten rid of everything on his board, which is good. And a couple more duels. Here's a DDD. I have the Nibiru. I think you have like 9 or maybe just a little over 9 cards for disruption when you know you're going second. Taking out the cross-out designators, obviously, because it doesn't help you as much. You're still vulnerable to them, but you know, if you can't out what your opponent has on their board, then you definitely don't have a chance. Okay, I'm going to wait a very long time to activate this Nibiru because he doesn't have anything threatening just yet. What I'm really waiting for is for him to activate Lamia so it gets banished when it leaves the field. That's what I was going for. There we go. Now he uses the effect. I'm going to wait for him to special summon that back, and now I can activate Nib. And there we go. So importantly, too, he can't use Hulk during his turn. He goes for the Doom. I think this card can activate its effect multiple times, which is super nuts. Like all of the effects, not just the one to attach. Okay, so he's going to try it. I think he's going to try to attach that. It's going to miss timing, which is super cool. And Toucan can come down. And Nib's like a really good card to have in this deck because it's just tribute fodder too, is what it comes down to. All right, he's going to destroy again to attach this time. But once, you know, as you guys have seen, once the names are in your hand, you're just going to be able to keep normal summoning over and over again. A lot of the times, so much so that you don't have anything to do. Like, you're not going to normal summon them, but if they get rid of them on your board, then you're good. All right, Rubina can search the England, and that can give me an Apex Avian. I contribute the Nib token, of course, and he goes ahead and surrenders because he cannot special summon monsters. I got an Omni Negate and more kind of disruption there too, or like an oppressive card. And this will be the last duel. It's going to be against Sword Soul, Banish. It's kind of bizarre, to be honest with you. I'll activate Lancia. I thought I was going first. This was the first of the duel. He goes into the 10 Yi monster. How many 10 Yi cards does he even have? It's probably, well, no, it's pretty well developed. He's got a lot in there. I have never seen something like this, but okay. That's the great thing, I guess, when you're playing against a deck like this, like, oh, activate Macra, but you can't play. It's like, well, it's actually the best card. Thank you. It helps me out a tremendous amount. Okay, so the Stree, is that what they're calling it? Interesting. I can banish a Sword Cell from the graveyard. Otherwise, you probably banish like a 10 Yi. I'm going to be able to tribute one of his cards during his turn. It's probably going to be the continuous spell. He's got the Aloof Lupine. That's not like an actual threatening card. England is going to go ahead, and these are going to trigger 2 to add themselves back to the hand, so I can go through some more loops. But, you know, considering all the cards I have, you know, on the field, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the rest of his cards. Especially, like, this time they want to be banished, and now I'm discarding them. Like, that's amazing. And on top of that, I do have the Apex Avian. Whoo-wee, because I had the field spell and this, which is just super dope. And considering that's the only card he has, I'm going to go ahead and negate that. I have all the names in circulation. And that was a pretty good display there, like, at the end. I'll show the deck profile for this soon. It's not, like, dead final yet. I'm, like, close. But I wanted to show a more, you know, comprehensive gameplay video. Talk about some of the interactions, what the deck is good at, what it needs, and all that good stuff. So, other than that, that's going to do it for today's video. And I'll see you guys next time.